Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please join me in giving this incredible group of graduating seniors a round of applause? We are so proud and so excited. My name is Steve Cox. I'm going to be your master of ceremony tonight. Given the nature of tonight's event, we want to show the utmost respect throughout the commencement ceremony for our upcoming graduates. With that in mind, I'd like to have Dr. McCaller come to the microphone for words of welcome. Dr. McCaller.
Go ahead, you can be seated. Welcome, Washington family and friends, to the 57th graduation of Washington High School. Now, for our family and friends in the audience, you know just how great these students are, these young adults are, but as a class, they have always demonstrated leadership at Washington. You see, they started, many of them, in the fall of 2013, the same year that sixth graders came to Washington for the first time. So they were never the youngest students at Washington, and even though they just got there, they had to start setting the example right away. And they've shown leadership and set the example ever since. They've been active in extracurricular activities, JROTC, band, choir, orchestra, athletics. Seniors, if you've been involved in any of those activities, please stand up at this time. You can be seated. But the main reason we come to school and we come to Washington is to get smarter, and they've done that as well. These students have earned over 2,000 college credits while in high school. And 3 of them so far have already earned their Associate of Arts degree while in high school. Students, if you've ever taken an accelerated class, a college in the schools, Project Lead the Way, advanced math, advanced science, please stand up at this time. Go ahead and have a seat. But this is called a commencement exercise, and commencement means beginning. And these students have prepared for post-secondary education for life after Washington. They will be going to 4-year colleges, 2-year colleges, the military, apprenticeships, Focus Beyond, job skills training, and any number of different post-secondary opportunities. Seniors, if you've been accepted to a post-secondary opportunity, please stand up at this time. Yeah, that's right. It's 100% of the people that you see down on the floor. 100% of our seniors have been accepted to some type of post-secondary opportunity, and not just accepted, but encouraged. They've earned over $3.1 million in scholarships for next year. Go ahead, you can have a seat. We are so very proud of the class of 2019. At this time, could we have the audience and seniors please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Washington Naval Junior ROTC.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please join me in giving our color guard and our choir a round of applause. Thank you, Ms. French. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you our Chief of Staff for St. Paul Public Schools, Mr. Cedric Baker. Let's give it up for Mr. Baker.
You may be seated. Principal McCollard, colleagues, families, and of course our graduates, I am delighted to be here to offer my congratulations to all of you, our graduates. You are a large and distinguished group of 220 students with different backgrounds, experiences, and dreams. But today you sit here as one. And I would like to welcome the class of 2019. This graduating class is going on to do great things, from higher education, ranging from local in-state colleges and universities to trades and certification programs, starting their own businesses, or enlisting in the United States Army, Navy, Marines, or National Guard. While many others are going on to jobs and adventures yet to be determined, please know your next journey begins here. Let's give them again a round of applause for their accomplishments. So the pressure is on. It's up to you to make a difference in this world. Yes, we are proud of you, and there's absolutely no doubt about that. All of us here at St. Paul Public Schools are proud of what you have accomplished in your lives so far. And I know there is much, much more to come. What we continue to see around our nation are young people standing up and challenging the status quo, demanding a change from those that have the privilege of making important decisions that affect our lives. When you decide something needs to change, you step up and you speak out. Your graduating class has shown us that great things can happen when your voice is heard. And yes, we are grateful that you and your families have trusted us, St. Paul Public Schools, to provide you with a solid education. We know you'll be out there using what you've learned and what you learn in the coming years to make your mark in this world. You're all bright, accomplished young adults. You don't need me to provide you with a list of stuff we want you to do, because you are already on the right path. And we believe you will stand for what is right. It was the poet Maya Angelou who said, "Just do right." Right may not be expedient, it may not be profitable, but it will satisfy your soul. It brings you to the kind of protection that bodyguards can't give you. So try to live your life in a way that you will not regret years of useless virtues and inertia and timidity. Take up the battle, take it up, it's yours, this is your life, this is your world. Hopefully you're sensing a theme that we're counting on you graduates. This is your world, make it better. While I have these last fleeting moments here at the podium, I want to recognize the students who did not quit. Whether you were born outside of the United States, worked several jobs to help your family, had to navigate unexpected obstacles, or even just hit the snooze button too often. I say to you, we are glad you are here at this time. You inspire us. I want to thank you and your families and friends that are here today who have supported each of you along the way to make it to this point. Graduates, this moment in your life is a major achievement, and you should be extremely proud of your hard work. It has been a privilege and to provide you with an education, and a privilege also to learn from you. I wish you the best as you commence the next stage of your life. Now get out there and change this world.
Let's give another round of applause for Mr. Baker. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you Ms. Marnie Zhang, St. Paul School Board member, treasurer, graduate of Washington Middle School, and yes, former 7th grade student of yours truly. Marnie, let's hear it.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome and introduction. Congratulations, Washington Eagles. Yes, you did it. I am so honored and proud to be a part of your well-deserved commencement due to all of your hard work, dedication, sweat and tears, resilience, and determination to achieve your graduation today. Look around the room at all of your peers who are graduating with you tonight. Look around the room. Some of you are from immigrant and refugee families who escaped poverty and war zones, hopeful that your family will have an opportunity to survive and live in a better life in America. Some of you came to this country without a formal education and spoke no word of English. And some of you came to school and worked full-time to support your family. Some of you served on student leadership groups, led marches, protested, played sports, debated, studied late into the night, fought for equity for all, and helped to transform your school community. Regardless the challenges that you've encountered, this celebration is a proof of your greatness and a testament that despite the obstacles, you persevered to find and make a better you. You challenged yourself to go the distance, to run the extra mile, take an extra class, You stood up against injustices, you took the road least taken, and you changed the trajectory of your life. You refused to be determined by the adversities upon you, and let your future be defined by your values, aspirations, hopes, and dreams. I want to share with you 2 stories about perseverance. About 51 years ago, civil rights leaders persevered in our country. They came together to change the trajectory of our nation and challenge racism and injustice. They organized, they marched, they boycotted. They were children and adults. Many were hurt and injured. There were those who lost their lives. But in all, they persevered so that our generation would have the privileges and opportunities to live and dream beyond segregated neighborhoods, to attend schools regardless of our skin color or the neighborhood that we live in. The civil rights leaders, the Little Rock Nine, the freedom fighters, they all persevered. 44 years ago, the Hmong people and my family's lives were forever changed. The United States CIA began a secret war to support their efforts in the Vietnam War conflict. As a result, they recruited thousands of Hmong men and boys to fight in the secret guerrilla unit known as the SGU. On May 14, 1975, the United States withdrew their military from Southeast Asia, ending their participation in the Vietnam War conflict. And this also launched the persecution of the American allies in the Southeast Asian region by the communist regime. My grandfather was recruited at a young age as a soldier to fight the communists. It was his hopes and dreams that he could one day raise a family and his children would survive and escape war. This determination was why he fought to ensure my grandmother, their children, escaped to Thailand than to America for a better life. I never met my grandfather because he returned to Laos to join the resistance and died helping thousands of Hmong people escape communism. My grandfather, my grandmother, and many thousands of American allies in Southeast Asia refused to let the persecution determine their life outcomes. Therefore, they persevered and crossed the Mekong River to take refuge in Thailand and to immigrate across the world. I share with you 2 examples of historical events of how people who came before all of us fought and persevered so that we can inherit our freedom today. But this is also a reminder that your perseverance to do better, to become great, was not a skill that you learned in school. You were all born from a generation of people who demanded and wanted better lives for you and the world. Greatness is in your DNA, and perseverance is in your blood. We all are shaped by our family's history and the history of those who came before us to create the world that we have today. As you all graduate from St. Paul Public Schools, many of you will be the first in many things because you are still the pioneer in your family. You will be the first in your family to graduate high school, or maybe you are the first or the second generation in your family go to college. Many of you will go into the workforce and into the trades. Some of you will go on to play professional sports or become an inventor, a doctor, a lawyer, a politician, go into the military. Whatever you decide to do or whoever you decide to become, remember that you are standing on the shoulders of giants who came before you. You stand on the shoulders of histories and the people who fought to assure that you realize and never forget your worth and greatness. Never lose sight of your aspirations, your dreams, and your goals. And never let adversities define who you are and what you can become. On your journey ahead of you, remember to never doubt a moment of your worth, that your voice and your vote can make a difference. For the future belongs to those who have a seat at the table and not on the menu. Before I conclude my remarks tonight, I want to recognize a giant whose shoulder both you and we stand on. 18 years ago, I was a student at Washington Middle School. We had the privilege of having Dr. McCullough as my principal. Yours and my St. Paul education is a part of Dr. McCullough's legacy of his leadership and greatness that he exemplified in St. Paul Public Schools. And so on behalf of the St. Paul Public Schools Board of Education, I thank you, Dr. McCollar, for your service to students, families, and St. Paul Public Schools, as we bid you a farewell and your next impact in the world during your retirement. Will you join me in a hand of applause to Dr. McCollar? Finally, as a member of the Board of Education of St. Paul Public Schools, I am so proud of you all and am honored to represent this community as we recognize all of you, our outstanding graduates in this commencement ceremony. Congratulations, Washington's class of 2019. Woo!
Let's give Marnie another round of applause. Thank you, Marnie. Our next speaker began a journey 34 years ago with St. Paul Public Schools. On that journey, he's traveled to 3 different schools, from science teacher to assistant principal, and finally his last stop, Washington. We can't be more thankful for the work that Dr. McCollar has done for all of us. It's his graduation tonight, too. He's starting a new journey himself. But here to tell you, the graduating class of 2019, words you must hear, our own Dr. McCollar. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Cox, and thank you to the class of 2019, not only for your leadership, like I mentioned earlier, but making Washington a great school for the last 6 years and a great place to come to school every day for the last 6 years. As Mr. Cox mentioned, this is all of our commencement today, me as well as you, and we're starting over on a new chapter of our lives. I started at Washington as an assistant principal in 1995. I know that's a little before most of you were born, for all of you were born. And I know you started in 2013, but we share a similar story in an acronym that I want you to remember as POP, P-O-P. The first P stands for our past. Washington is a school of immigrants. Our nation is a country of immigrants, and that's what makes our country great. You see, my people came here from Europe several generations ago. My ancestors came to the United States. They couldn't speak English. They came to work in the mines in northern Minnesota and the mines of northern Michigan, but they wanted their children to get an education. My grandparents could only go to school till the 8th grade, and they had to go work on the farm in order to help support their family. But my grandparents wanted my parents' generation to get an education, so they really emphasized education, and all of the generation in my level has been to college and has a college degree. Your parents are the same. Your parents, some of them came from Europe and have a similar story to me. Some of them came north after the Emancipation Proclamation during the Great Migration to cities like Chicago, Detroit, and even St. Paul. Some of them couldn't read or write, but they wanted their sons and daughters to have an education. So they brought them to St. Paul, and we're fortunate that their families settled here. Other of your families came more recently. They're immigrants from Central America, Mexico, Africa, and all over Asia, all over the world. They came to the United States, they came to St. Paul, and you came to Washington because your parents wanted to give you the gift of an education. Your parents wanted you to be more successful than they were. At this time, graduates, let's give a big round of applause to the parents that helped get us here. The O in POP is opportunities. And at this time, if I could have all of the Washington staff members in the audience stand up at this time and remain standing. If all of the Washington staff members could stand up in the balcony. Students, if you look around, you'll see your middle school teachers, your high school teachers, your coaches, your counselors, your administrators. You can keep standing because I'm going to keep saying nice things about you. You might have had Mr. Lane as a Phi Ed teacher in middle school, and then back as the badminton coach taking our team to state as a high school badminton coach. You might have had Ms. Venturi, Ms. Hoover, Ms. Marty, helping you learn English for the very first time, as well as some of our English and language teachers, not only teaching you college-level English, but taking you on trips around the world to China, Thailand, Costa Rica, France. That's because of the passion that the people that you see standing have right now. And I can't say enough about technology. In every class that you've experienced here at Washington, you have learned how to use and innovate with technology in exciting and creative ways. Ways that in 1995, when we had our two little Apple computer labs at Washington, we would have not ever imagined. Students, let's give it up for the Washington staff. Thank you, staff members. And the third P is potential. We can do anything. We are at a point right now, you and I, in our lives, where we are going to have unlimited opportunities. Many of us are going to be going to college. Actually, I'm teaching a college class just next Tuesday. But we're going to college, a four-year school, a two-year school, military, an internship. We are going to keep learning for the rest of our lives. We're going to challenge ourselves to do new things, to try new things, to exercise that potential. This moment in time reminds me of a quotation from Theodore Roosevelt, one of our presidents, and it goes something like this: "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out where the strong man stumbled, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who knows great enthusiasms and great devotions. And in the end, if he triumphs, he succeeds valiantly. And if he fails, at least he fails greatly, so that his place shall never be among those cold and timid souls that know neither victory nor defeat." Class of 2019, your arena might be medicine, your arena might be electrician, your arena might be any one of 100 different careers. It might be improving your community. It might be the arts. It might be building a better family. Whatever your arena is, it is yours to go out and conquer at this point. Now let's go out and change the world.
Another round for Dr. McCullough, please. I now present to you Cameron Frankie, who's going to give our victory address. Cameron. Cameron is, of course, our class valedictorian, so let's congratulate her on that.
Class of 2019, we made it. After months of counting down, I can now say with pride that we actually made it. The last thing we have to do is walk across the stage without tripping. Families, friends, and teachers, thank you for supporting us along our journey so far. And thank you for joining us tonight at this late graduation that has passed many of our bedtimes. We didn't ask for this. Class of 2019, we have experienced a lot in the last 6 years at Washington. We will no longer have to endure the early morning classes that half of us slept through. We no longer have school lunches that were occasionally very questionable in their contents. Sadly, in the future, whether it be in college or a job, we will never get a second winter break like we did this year, because unlike our parents, the real world does not care if we freeze to death. We have done some amazing things in the last 4 years. We have been involved within the communities most important to us. For many of us, myself included, that was our community here at Washington. We dedicated days of summer break for web leader training. We planned homecoming and pep fests with student council. We spent many hours each week at grueling sports practices that ran late into the evening. Even if you are more involved in your community outside of Washington, your church, or your local Boys and Girls Club, you still did amazing things, and I am proud of every last one of you. Beyond what we did, think about what we gained. We have learned leadership, teamwork, commitment, grit, perseverance, skills that will define us and help us wherever we end up in the future. In school, we learned how to think and how to ask questions. We have earned college credits and nursing and auto mechanic certifications. Over half of our seniors graduating with high honors are full-time PSCO students, meaning they were full-time college students at St. Paul College, Concordia University, or the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and still earned grades good enough to maintain a 3.75 GPA. That is something to be proud of. This year, with all of you, I feel like I finally witnessed the spirit of the class of 2019. Despite how events unfolded, we are united in all of our experiences the last 6 years. Thank you to everyone who submitted pictures and quotes to help create the first ever entirely student-created yearbook. We could have graduated with nothing to remember each other by, another high school tradition lost. Thank you to everyone who came to the events Senior Class Council hosted, from your support at the video game night to helping set up our first senior prank at the crack of dawn. Thank you to everyone who helped with our second prank that wasn't really a prank, but more of an art project representing the class of 2019 that ended up washed away after a couple hours of existence. We all tried to make senior year our best year of high school. Hopefully we succeeded despite the obstacles we faced. I hope that you are sitting there in those chairs feeling proud of who you are graduating with. I know I am. I want to take a moment to share the motto that we voted to represent the class of 2019. Difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. This quote is very reflective of us as a class. We have all faced our own difficult roads, whether it be moving here from a refugee camp, losing a family member, or growing up in a rough environment. When I look out at all of you today, I see people who have experienced some of the most challenging things life can throw at us, yet we all still found a way to push through, overcome our obstacles, and reach our own beautiful destinations, like being here tonight. Before I finish, I would like to share a story a wise friend recommended to me from The Alchemist. Many years ago, a merchant sent his son to learn the secret of happiness from the wisest man. The young boy trekked through the desert for many weeks until reaching the castle where the wise man lived. When the boy was able to ask the wise man about the secret of happiness, the wise man said he did not have the time to do so. Instead, he suggested the boy stroll around the palace for a few hours. The wise man added, "Can you do me a favor?" and handed the boy a spoon in which he poured 2 drops of oil. "While you walk, do not let this oil spill from the spoon." So the boy journeyed around the palace, watching the oil carefully to make sure he did not spill it. When he returned, the wise man asked, "Did you see the stunning art on the walls? Did you see the garden that took a decade to grow? Did you notice the views of rivers and mountains from the high tower?" The boy was embarrassed and admitted he saw nothing because he was too focused on not spilling the oil. The wise man instructed him to go out again and see the wonders of the castle. At ease, the boy explored the castle, absorbing everything the palace had to offer, from the gardens to the breathtaking views from the high tower. He returned to the wise man and described all he had seen. The wise man asked him, "But where are the 2 drops of oil I gave you?" Looking down, the boy realized he had spilled the oil. The wise man told him, "This is the only advice I can give you. The secret of happiness lies in looking at all of the wonders of the world, but never forgetting the 2 drops of oil in the spoon." As we head our separate ways today, I hope this story leaves you with some wisdom. Being young adults means exploring the world and all it has to offer us, but never let us forget our own drops of oil, the things in life that we hold closest: friends, family, our own identity, and our own passions. We must find a balance between exploring the world and never forgetting the things that matter most to us. While today might feel like an ending, it is also a beginning. We have shared the same experiences for the last 4 years, but for the next 4 years and beyond, I expect we will have very different experiences. Some of us are heading to college, some of us are joining the military, and some of us are going straight into workforce programs. No matter what your plans are, chase your passions with everything you have. Never give up on your dreams. Take advantage of opportunities. Advocate for yourself and your beliefs. With the state of the world today, never be complacent. There's always more you can know. Ask the questions others don't. Most importantly, vote. We are the generation that can make lasting change in justice and in a sustainable future. I'm sure we have all heard this quote many times since kindergarten, but it continues to ring true, as said by Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see in the world. I am so excited to see what we will accomplish and create in the next 10, 20, even 50 years from now. I know I'm looking out at future senators, doctors, lawyers, activists, and so much more. Today, we are closing a door on our childhood, but we are opening a door to the rest of our lives. With that, it was an honor to spend the last 6 years with you, and congratulations again to the class of 2019. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Cameron. Here to give our farewell address, I'd like to introduce to you Aslan Garcia Velasco. Aslan.
Hello. Before I start, I just want to thank everybody that signed my petition to get me to stand up here today. And I also want to acknowledge everyone that couldn't make it here today, for whatever the reason be. Okay. Good evening, faculty, staff, families, friends, and my fellow graduating classmates of 2019. Thank you for allowing me the honor of being the second one to publicly congratulate you. We really did it, y'all. Isn't it crazy? Give yourself a hand. Just take a moment and think about how far all of you have come, because you've all come far. We were all once on diapers, crawling on the floor, snot in our nose, and now here we are, young adults about to spread our wings and explore the adult world. Get it? Because we're eagles. Crazy thing is, we all took different ways to get here, yet here we are with a cap and gown. No matter how you did it, let me tell you this. It doesn't matter how you got here, or how hard it was, or what you wish you would have done differently along the way. The only thing that matters is that you are here now. Through all the trials and tribulations we've endured, we persevered. Acknowledge all you've overcome and understand that it's in our darkest moments we shine our brightest. We've experienced a lot of change in our lifetime and in our time in high school. Whether you've gained friends, lost some, relocated, or have dealt with tragedy, some of us fear change, others embrace it. To the ones that fear change, don't. Change is necessary and essential in growing and developing as a person. To the ones that embrace change, continue to accept the change and let it help you grow. We all came to Washington with some sense of who we were. I think we could all agree we aren't the same person we were when we were 14, 15 years old, just starting out high school. Each change we go through, whether the change is viewed as good or not, it will always be a part of life. We must not dwell on the change, but focus on the growth that comes from that change. I know I'm not the only one glad we're done with school. I was over school in like the 4th grade. But let me be reality and slap you in the face and remind you that our adult life is only beginning. We have so much more work to do, but we can and we will do it. After today, a lot of us may never see each other again besides random awkward encounters. Although some of us may keep in touch, although some of us have grown great bonds with each other throughout our years in school, after this, we have to make the tough decisions on which is the best path for us to take. It may stray away from some friends, even family, but that's okay. That's just life. Don't let it sadden you. Be grateful. Be grateful for the people you've met. Be grateful for the times we've shared. Be grateful for the people that have taught you things, shared things with you, laughed with you. I'm so grateful for the people I've met here, and I'm even more grateful for the people I now consider family. Be grateful for everyone you meet and connect with because everyone has something to give you, whether it be a lesson or a blessing. For years, we've been taught and told what to do and how to do it. Now it's up to us to decide what to do with the information given to us. Some of us may use what high school taught us and go to 4-year colleges or 2-year colleges. Some of us may go straight into the trades, straight into the workforce, or go serve this country in some military branch. Whatever you guys do, I encourage all of you guys to do something you love. Work is work. We all have to do it. We all won't be working our dream jobs at first, but don't let that discourage you from doing the things you love. Things may get hectic for us, and our lives may get busier, but try to enjoy what you do and try to continue to have fun and enjoy yourself. It's okay to take a different path than others. This life is your journey to take. To everyone, wherever you may go, I wish you luck, and I hope you enjoy what you do. I want to remind you guys, we are more than numbers. We are more than our test scores. We are more than the mistakes we've made, and we are more than the triumphs we've had. Each and every one of us has a soul. It's that warmth you feel in your chest. We all have a story to tell. Each of us have loved, has been hurt, has cried, has smiled. We're all humans, and nothing, and I mean nothing, divides us. Don't let society divide us because you practice a different religion than your neighbor, or of a different color, or of a different economic class, because in the end, we're all humans. We all deserve to live our lives with respect, dignity, and peace. Lastly, I want all of you to remember you have worth and you are important. The class of 2019 can do anything we put our minds to. I urge all of you to continue creating and continue telling your perspective and continue learning, trying, thinking, and questioning things. It helps things and us as a collective move forward. I look out and I don't just see young adults about to graduate, I see my friends, whether we used to be friends or still are. I see couples that will one day tell their kids about meeting at WASH. I see people who once didn't like each other sad they won't be seeing each other no more. We all mean something to someone. And if you don't think so, then I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but you're wrong. Most importantly though, we must learn to love ourselves and constantly remind ourselves that we always have control over what's inside of us. Life after this only gets harder, but I believe the class of 2019 will thrive with their newfound freedom. And a lot of us will bring all of us will bring great change to this world, whether it be on a grand scale or changing the world for someone we meet. We all have so much potential, so keep pushing, class of 2019. Much love, and again, congratulations, everyone.
It is with great honor and privilege that I am able to stand here with each and every last one of you. And it is with great pride that I get to make this official. And I do so by saying, by the power vested in me, by the state of Minnesota, and by the Board of Education of Independent School District 625, I hereby confer upon each and every one of you the high school diploma with all its rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations, Washington class of 2019.
Director Foster and Director Zhang, by the authority vested in me in the St. Paul Public Schools and on behalf of the faculty and staff at Washington Technology Magnet School, I hereby certify to you that each and every one of these graduates has completed the requirements for graduation for Washington Technology Magnet School, the St. Paul Public Schools, and the state of Minnesota. Congratulations, graduates.
Kalia Yang.
My Leah Vang.
Alexander Perrine.
Suleiman Jaffer.
TJ Williams.
Tracy Lore.
Abdullahi Hassan.
James Moo.
Sarah Yang.
Isaiah Evans.
Tevis Tao.
Lhasa Wangsai Lee.
Tevin Tao.
Kenji Lee.
Andrew Huang.
Chimua Mua.
Chi Vang.
Adriana Alexis Solis.
Gorsi Vang.
Peng Yang Zhang.
Yayua Zhang.
Mandy Zhang.
Chloe Yang.
Kenji Thao.
Janice Cole.
Titina Zhang.
E. Clark. Lei.
Kong Vu.
Yang Kong Vu.
Anjali Mua.
Hafsa Ali.
Chiran Adakari.
Wisdom Azanwu.
Ta Yang.
Unity Green.
Sissina Lord.
Shang Yang Tao.
Wei Ne Mu.
Yer Yang.
Adriana Menthi.
Maika Yang.
Jabarina Cooper.
Fatima Acosta.
Alantre Cagle.
Christina Diaz Garcia.
Emmanuel Latimore.
Lar So.
Kiera Sampson Keysbo Johnson.
Soki Siv.
Parker Edwards.
Mu Yer Pa.
Andy Mua.
Shua Zhang.
Murata Woldehanis.
E Ku.
Kevin Keldon Lopez.
Solomon Zhang.
Ply
Che.
Cameron Frankie.
David Hardaway.
Brenda Garcia Rodriguez.
Pa Le Pa.
Korea Chain.
Jet Lau.
Ronald Chacon Rivas.
Abdul Majid Asman.
Selena Garcia.
Cha Mung Vang.
Logan Doran.
Josh Su Vang.
Milian Ragasa.
Emily Vang.
Fatima
Lailia Lee.
Abdulhush. Oh, yeah.
No.
Fatima Abdulhush.
Ethan Good.
Yayua Yang.
Tang Tao.
Kinglee Lee. Jefferson Raul Andrade. C. Tao. Pua Yang. Kaylin Zhang. Nyonyo Se. Kobe Lee. Nine Cho. Chinu Tao. Clarity Lee. Athena Yang. Julia Yang. Calliope Zhang. Shengshua Lao. Kongpeng Tao. Melinda Lore. Owen Zhang. Caitlin Purdom. Gilberto Vivores Flores. Caitlin Nguyen. Sai Kong Yang. Shua Her. Ethel Mu. Yia Tao. Sam Nguyen. Kang Mua. Sa Moon. Ramon Flores Chavez. Ana Jabicho. Hassan. Nuji Lore. What's your name? Samira Mohammed. Napoleon Ree. Ilse Castillo Contreras. Shuba. Maider Yang. Emu. Maudiel Castelblanco. Erino Se. Jacob Wald-Johannes. Crystal. Yeah. Aliyah Chess. Upalexia Adhikari. Howie Abdurrahman. Fabian Garcia Pina. Casey Ferdon. Pao Yang.
Giovanni Guevara Rosas.
Boon Yang.
Chris Bentari Ripa.
Hamzi Omar.
Jennifer Lanfiesta Agustin.
Gabriela Dume.
Devin James Holman.
Ekutu Tu.
Baochi Yang.
Sore Tu.
Ku Heng.
Wale Pa.
Tu Vu.
Tisia Pa.
Giancarlo Guerrero.
Angela.
Calvin Kong.
K May. Ka Tu.
Momoko Dway.
Valeria Isabel Alarcon Avila.
Janzari Na.
Syed Tada.
Neso Gama.
Simile Vang.
Lynn Bly.
Megan Pash.
Tarwa Pa.
Chapao Lee.
Nia Tao Chang.
Jenny Tu.
Li Zhang.
Palai Vang.
Jordan Clark.
Chow Tao.
Casey Gia Yang.
Ong Mu.
Carlos Flores Peraltes.
Pru Mu.
Micaiah Klinkner.
Kriti Se.
Garisa Alimu Bolton.
Maria Guadalupe Martinez Lopez.
Zakaria Omar.
Angelina Yang.
Nima Farah Ali.
Sandy He Zhang.
Karen Jade Vang.
Mai Yer Tao.
Ann Lee.
Paku Yang.
Kevin Puertas Sosa.
Michael Ping Zhang Yang.
Jules Yang.
Illusion Yang.
Duozhang Yang Zhang.
Lao Tao.
Mackenzie James Rockmore.
Jia Cha.
Jareem Royster.
Ong So.
Jermaine Vang.
Yim Ling Lee.
Quan Nguyen.
Aslan Garcia Velasquez.
Kabao Vu.
Alan Ione.
Dongchua Heng.
Pajong Her.
Ku Ta.
Paia Yang.
Pujan Ta Pa.
Hugh Tommy Vang.
Ia Ku Zhang.
Mai Cha.
Nikki Tao.
Lao Vang.
Nabia Abdirahman Ali.
Stephen Josue Casiblanco.
Ahmed Omar Mohammed.
Na Noi Ni.
Let's go, Nani!
Sean Vang.
Joshua Francisco Colon. Li Yang.
Sherry Zhang.
Ronald Lincoln Jandro.
Let's give the graduates of 2019 a round of applause. Now, before we excuse ourselves, Aslan here has a very important message to the graduates of 2019. Aslan, it's your show, buddy.
Hey, everybody, this is because of your guys' hard work. Everybody, again, congratulations. Shout out to the real class of 2019. We did it!